right, man. Yes. What's going on? So listen, I got a DM. I got a good question. I believe it was on Instagram. The young man asked me about investing in solar panels, putting about $45,000 into a solar setup on his house to save on electric, if I thought that was a good investment. Now, I'm going to be honest. It's not what I call an investment. Yeah, I guess in a way, and I'm not against solar panels, so don't attack me if you have them. I get it. But I'm trying to turn you into a 7%er. See, the 7% own the assets in this place, in this country, that appreciate or produce cash flow. Better yet, you should take that $45,000 and do something like I'm fixing to show you in this class. Do some millionaire math. I don't want to save your utility bill. I want your wealth to pay your utility bill. Budgeting is obviously something we want to do in life. We want to save money. We want to live below our means. That's how we get the margin to do the millionaire stuff. But this is just a big picture of thinking of how to look at chunks of money, 30,000, 40,000, 50,000. You should be looking at 10x in that. You should be looking at doubling your money every 3.2 years. That's my goal. So I could turn 45 into 90 in 3 years and 90 into 180 and 180. You see, you get the point. Let's go to the whiteboard and look at that. Hey, man. What's going on? Yes. Namaste. Welcome back to the channel. Listen, let's do some math, man. Let's do some of that millionaire math. This is the kind of shit people should have been telling you when you were like 10 years old. This is what they should have been teaching you in high school. This is what they should have been teaching you. Instead of when person gets on a train and one person goes to here and one person goes to there. Or they could teach you this and show you how to make some money. Let's talk, there's three components to building wealth: time, amount, and yield. Now, time, you can't fix. That's it. Destiny, right? You're going to live, you're going to die. You're getting the time you're getting. Amount, you have some effect over. That's how much you put in the game. Every day, this is a game. And I'm going to show you how. Why? It's 365 days in a year, right? So I'm going to take you through a real estate deal, the possible return in 1 year, and then show you the possibility if you were thinking in terms of 5 years, 10 years, 20 years, and you were consistently doing this, how very, very rich you can get in this very simple strategy when it comes to real estate. And it's buying single family real estate. And it's buying one house at a time. I'm not talking about trailer parks. I'm not talking about owning a business or a bakery or a dry cleaners. I'm not talking about car wash. I'm not talking about a stock. I'm not talking about any of that, not a crypto coin. What I'm talking about is the shit you pass by every day when you go to work, when you go wherever, you see house, apartment, house. That. The most basic of things. They use the term landlord because it goes way back to collecting rent from people for running the land. The land. Yes, it is the house that sits on the land too, but it's about owning property. This has been for 5,000 years, the path to wealth for every single human being has been property. Even businesses, they have to have property in which to do business. Meaning if you move the restaurant from that location and move it over to here, it may not stay in business. That location and property is at the core of wealth building. So today I want to talk about a house, a simple house. Now, this house, let me check my... Dude, this house is what I would call an average typical deal. We're just looking at math. You may not be able to do every single thing in this equation, but it's the flow. This is about deal flow. We're talking about deal flow. And that's this, $170,000 house or $170,000 door. Think of it that way. But it's a property, a house. And it's $170,000. You may be like, well, houses don't cost that. It's the math, man. Follow the math. There are plenty of places where you can buy a house for $170,000. So 170, and guess what? In 10 years, I'll be saying 240 and then 390 inflation. The reason we play this game is because prices go up. The reason that most people don't play is they say it's too expensive is the reason you're supposed to be in it, okay? So the reason they're not in is the very reason they're supposed to own it. Think on that for a minute. So $170,000 house, we're investors. We got to start this with the big idea that we're looking for a deal. I need a discount, meaning I'm on a $170,000 house and I'm going to pay 10 to 20% below that value. 10% would be $17,000, taking my loan down to $153,000. And that could look like a lot of things. Maybe I bang them up and say, look, man, place really needs to be painted. The porch is fucked up. There's this, there's that. And I push back on them about whatever. The roof, the this, the that. And they give me a 10% discount or maybe more. The better you get at this part, or the luck you have on this part, or the number of deals you put in on this part, you actually affect this part. If you demand a deal that's 10 to 20% below list value, then you're going to get deals that are 10 to 20% below list value. You may have to go through a lot of deals. You're not going to get the easy deals. You're not going to get handed deals. You're going to have to go hunt them. So now we're going to pretend that we get a $153,000 house, and we're going to put 25% down, which is $38,250. Now listen, in real estate, you're going to hear a lot of terms. Now I'm going to go fast. You're going to have to pay attention. We're just thinking big picture. This is how your mind should be thinking. There's such a thing as cash flow. There's such a thing as cash on cash return. And there's such a thing as net operating income, NOI. So we got CF, COC, and NOI. Now we're not going to go through what each of those mean, but they all play into this scenario. They're all part of this math of what can happen in 1 year. So we put $38,000 down. We're going to go out and get a 30-year note. Now let me say something about financing. When it comes to buying a property, you have to find a property, analyze the property, buy the property, manage the property, and then grow the portfolio. You're going to see all of that play out in this one deal over a 1 year period. So this is what happens to your money when you take $38,250 and you go procure yourself a 30-year note with a bank or a lender or a hedge fund or private equity or hard money, whatever. Go research. There's lots of, that's a whole nother class. But you go get yourself a 30-year note. That's going to give you, the longer the note, the less cash flow. Just go with me. The longer the note, typically the less cash flow. If you can get good cash flow and a long note, that's good too. The shorter the note, the bigger the loan paydown. And we're going to talk about loan paydown in just a minute. So we're out $38,250 on a 30-year note. That means we're borrowing $114,750. We're in 30 years of equal 12-month payments. Boom, there we go. That's the financing of the deal. Remember, time, amount, what's the amount? $38,250. How much is the time? We're going to be talking about 1 year. What's the yield? We're going to get to that. Now, we all know what cash flow. Cash flow is the term. Cash flow is king. You ever heard that? And it's like, not cash is king. Cash flow is king. What does that mean? That's money that you get to put in your pocket directly. So unlike a retirement account where you got to wait way down the road to get paid, in real estate, it goes up, the loan gets paid down, and you get paid a tax-free little bonus to manage it. And we call that cash flow. We'll talk about in a second why that's cash-free. Cash flow's king. If you do $100 of cash flow a month, and you say, what is cash flow? We're going to get to that. Just know this. If you do $100 a month in positive cash flow, that's a 3.1% return on your $38,250. Not a big deal. 3.1%. If you did $200 a month cash flow, you just doubled your return at 6.2%. But we're not done. We're just getting started on the return. So per door, keep this in mind, as you raise rent in a single family home, for every $100 adds about 3.1% to your total return. It's actually a little more, but we're not going to get into that. So once we procured this property and we put it out for rent, right? We're going to put it out for rent. We're not getting into all the fixing it up and all that shit. These are I'm just taking you through the overall math, deal flow. So we have a house. We have a $114,750 note. Now, how do we determine cash flow? We got to find out our cost. What's the cost? The loan has a cost. So we got a mortgage payment. And if we have a long mortgage payment, we're going to get cash flow. If we have a short note, we're going to pay down more principal. In other words, the longer the note, the more in principal you pay. The shorter the note, the less in principal you pay. If your goal is to own an asset that appreciates and puts cash flow in your pocket and gives you a discount, other people pay it down, longer loans are fine. This is not a personal debt. Meaning we want to go get a whole bunch of these debts because other people are paying it. That's the leverage part of real estate. We're going to get into that. And you're going to see why that's so important. So cash flow is important. We want $100 to $200 a door. We know for every $100 we can directly affect, or in other words, your yield. Time times amount times yield. 1 year, amount down 380, 250, and now yield. This is where the yield's playing out. And through our knowledge, or through our ability to push or focus or create a wedge or skill, we could raise this. If we could buy a property where we know we could get $200 a month, what if we could get $300 a month? That's 9.3%. See what I'm saying? And now we begin to multiply that over years, time times amount, but we're not done yet. So we know the return on our cash flow if we rent it. Now that rent is loan, taxes, insurance, and maintenance. Maintenance is the unknown. We don't know what it's going to take to maintain the house in the future. We really don't know. We don't know what this house is going to take to maintain it in the future. I like to set aside anywhere from $50 to $100 depending on how I'm feeling. Probably the more, if you have investors, you got to really get this down. You need transparency. If it's just you, I mean, you could just say, hey, I got the money. I'm going to cover what comes up. Okay. I don't need to necessarily set aside money, but it does come out of monies. But here's the thing. You could have a house. It'll go 5 years. Nothing. Another house every other month or something. So it's hard to know, but a good rule of thumb is $75. That's the middle between 50 and 100. So we have our loan costs, we have our taxes, we know what that is, we have insurance costs, and now we have maintenance. What is left becomes known as cash flow. For every $100, we get a 3.1% cash on cash return from our $38,250 we put down. Cash on cash. Meaning, what is my return on the money that I put out? That's how we're basing that calculation. But get this, over the period of 1 year, time, 12 months, 12 equal payments, we're going to pay down the loan. We're doing a 30-year loan. It's about $9,800 a month. The loan gets paid down over here. Total $1,179. That's a typical 30-year note. That means the loan went down by this price. Your cash flow was $1,200 to $2,400. You said, what do you mean? Well, $100 over cost times 12 be $1,200. If you did it my way, all my deals are $200 or more. I want $200 a month or I don't want to do it. So any deal I get, if I put in this formula, is going to be in the 24 range, and we'll see why that's important. Now, appreciation is the icing on the cake, but it's what everyone measures real estate by. Everybody, you guys all do it. Oh, the market's too high. Everybody measures it by price. That's not the measuring stick. It's rents. What does it cost to hold the property, and what kind of money can the property make? I don't give a fuck about the price if it makes me a fortune. Price is whatever. Price is the hand that you're dealt. You go, what do you mean? You could be the best poker player at the table. You have to play the cards they give you. So we have to play the price that we have. This is the price of the market. But in my process of finding a property, when I analyze a property, I set the criteria. And if my criteria is that I get $200 a door and none of these deals work, then I guess I don't buy a bad deal. And I just keep trying it. Right? And maybe there's variables we need to change. Remember I said we put down 25%? I used to just put 20%. What if I go 30% and this deal works? We'll see. Is it worth it? Let's see. Let's get to the bottom. Let's see what happens in 1 year. So we got cash flow in our pocket. We got loan pay down. We said appreciation's icing on the cake, but on average, it's 4.4%. That's not much. 4%. You say, what do you mean? But it's on the 170. So we got the house for $153. We put 25% down. That was $38,250. That left us with a note for $114,750, which now the house is worth what? $170. What's the difference between this and this? That's what? That's your equity, right? Loan pay down. So this 114 gets dropped by 1,179. So now we have 113, right? 113 some change. We got the cash flow, and if the house appreciates at 4.4%, that's 170,000 times 4.4. And that comes up to what? $7,480. The house appreciated. Now, this is over 6, 7, 8 years. Maybe 1 year it's down, maybe 1 year it's up, maybe 1 year it's down, 1 year it's up, 2 years it's down, 3 years it's up. But over time, you're going to average 4.4%. Go ask your mom what a house was when she was old, and then her grandfather and her, go all the way back to the beginning. Prices go up over time. It's a basic belief of the money flow. So 4.4%, but that's on 170. What is that? 7,418. Let me let you in on something. The cash on cash return of that appreciation of owning a house 1 year is 19% of your down payment. Your down payment was $38,250. If you divide the appreciation number by the amount you put down, it's going to give you 19%. You got a 19% cash on cash return just from the appreciation on the house. Now, if we got a $100 a door or $200 a door, we add another 3.1 or 6.2, right? Yep, boom. We ain't even calculated the loan pay down. If you run this all together, now some people don't believe in total return, don't calculate it, and that's cool. I'm just telling you the way I analyze deals. You can analyze deals however you want. This is the flow of money that I see, okay, when it comes to the concept of finding, analyzing, buying, managing, and growing. So as I bring this into my portfolio, and this was the price, I want to pay this for these type of deals. I want to put sweat equity in. I want to put this down. I need to start collecting this. The loan starts getting paid down. The house goes into time of appreciation. Depreciation, we didn't even talk about, which makes the cash flow tax-free. What's the value of that? And you say, what do you mean? Well, you get to depreciate the house 3.1%. Millionaire math, guys, right? Millionaire math. Depreciation. 3.1% of the value of the home is depreciated every year as a tax write-off against any profits. What were the profits? The cash flow. How much was the cash flow? $1,200 to $2,400. Is that below 3.1% of the total value of the home? What is the total value of the home? $170,000. What is 3.1% of that? You could take your cash flow to that number, and it's yours free, tax-free. You don't pay any taxes on it. The house appreciates, tax-free. Tax-free. The loan pay down, tax-free. This money, this deal flow is literally growing completely tax-free if it's structured right, if you know what you're doing, if you're a pro, if you study math, if you study money through the cycle. Now here, hold on, yeah, I haven't lost it. Let's do it. Let's do the total return. Debt pay down, that's in terms of, that's years, depending on what kind of debt you got. Cash flow, that's how good you get at getting deals, finding deals, how aggressive you are. The better you get at that, the more you can affect this number. Appreciation, the better you get at finding good areas or buying the right type of deals in the right areas. If you develop that skill set, you could directly affect this as well. In 1 year, the total return on the low end, meaning you only got $100 a month cash flow, you collected rent all year, is $9,879. That's loan pay down plus cash flow plus appreciation comes to $9,879. Divide 38,250, your money you put down into that number, you're going to get 0.258. You had a 25% total return, or cash on cash. It's not cash on cash, but it's a total return on the money you have out of pocket. Okay? If just looking at deal flow. Now, we didn't get into a lot of things. We didn't get into fix up and all that. Okay? Just trying to get people to see the math here, the possibilities. And you could even jump this. You could make this better. And I know guys who get 30, 40, 50% returns, and then they sell for a 400% return in 1 year. And you're like, how can that be? They leveraged, man. So when they say real estate went up 24% in 1 year, dude, that's on the value of the real estate. They put down a fifth of that. So the guy that gets a 25% appreciation, that's like 100% return when you're only putting down 25%. If the house appreciates 100%, what is that when you're only putting down 25% on that? It grows exponentially. That's leverage. That's leverage, man. This is the math they should have taught you in high school or in college, how you make money with real estate. And it's happening all around you every day, every year, every generation. It's been happening all the way back to, middle age. I mean, before that. This is how you build as a blue collar person. This is the kind of shit that makes you rich, not working a job.